Aziz claims trial to money laundering charges. Government seeking 1.7 billion ringgit in taxes from Datuk Sri Najib. Good evening, welcome to News on 2. I'm Jessica Lee. Riza Sharis Abdul Aziz, the stepson of former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, pleaded not guilty at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today to 5 charges of involvement in money laundering activities involving $248 million or 1.25 billion ringgit, which were misappropriated from the One Malaysia Development Berhad or 1MDB fund. For Riza, 42, the owner of Red Granite Pictures, entered a plea in the presence of Judge Rosina Ayub after the charges were read out to him. He was allowed a R1 million bail with 2 sureties and his passport impounded by the court until his case is disposed. On the first charge, the producer of the film Wolf of Wall Street was charged with involvement in money laundering activities by accepting funds from illegal activities involving more than $1.1 million through a money transfer transaction from an account belonging to Goodstar Limited at RBS Coutts, Zurich, Switzerland, to a City National Bank account, Los Angeles, USA, belonging to Red Granite Productions Incorporated. The offence was allegedly committed between 12th of April 2011 and 12th of May at City National Bank in Los Angeles, California, USA. Riza was also charged with committing the same offence involving $9 million through a money transfer transaction from the same account between 10th of September 2012 and October 2012 at the same location. On the third and fourth charges, the accused was charged with committing the same offence involving $133 million and $60 million through a money transfer transaction from an account number belonging to Arba Investment PJS Limited at BSI SA Lugano, Switzerland, to a BSI Bank Limited Singapore account belonging to Red Granite Capital Limited. On the fifth count, the accused was charged with the same offence amounting to $45 million at the same place on 14th of November 2012. The charges were made under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Anti-Money Laundering, Prevention of Terrorism Financing and Proceeds from Unlawful Activities Act 2001, which provides for a fine of up to 5 million ringgit or a jail term of up to 5 years or both upon conviction. The federal government is seeking almost 1.7 billion ringgit in additional taxes from ex-Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak for the years 2011 until 2017. The government, through the Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, filed a lawsuit against Datuk Sri Najib as the sole defendant at the High Court Registry on the 25th of June. In a statement of claim, the government said the LHDN had sent an additional tax assessment notice via registered post to the defendant's house address in Taman Duta on the 25th of March, but the notice went unanswered. However, Datuk Sri Najib's failure to pay 1.47 billion ringgit for the 7 years within 30 days from the date of the assessment notice resulted in a first 10% increase, which is in accordance with Section 103 of the Income Tax 1967 Act. The plaintiff said as Datuk Sri Najib still failed to settle the renewed sum within 60 days under the same Act, a compounded 5% hike was added to the sum. In addition, the plaintiff has the right to recoup the income tax that is still owed along with the increases imposed on the defendant as a tax which is due to be paid. It added that until 5th of July, the defendant is yet to pay the amount owed. The government is claiming a sum of about 1.69 billion ringgit with a 5% per annum from the day of judgment until the sum is satisfied, costs and any relief deemed fit by the court. The case is fixed for case management on 8th of July before High Court Deputy Registrar Eri Shariman Noor Arifin. The Shah Alam Coroner's Court in Selangor today has selected a physics expert from University Technology Mara or UiTM to help in the inquest proceedings of the death of Muhammad Adib Muhammad Qasim in regards to the calculation of impact force. Coroner Rofia Mohammed said the expert, Amir Razi Abdghani, a senior lecturer from the university's Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, is scheduled to testify as the 30th witness on the 16th and 17th of July. The need to call the physicists to testify in the proceedings came up after they were differing opinions in the testimonies of two experts during the proceedings. Kuala Lumpur Hospital, Dr. Ahmad Hafizam Hasmi and Professor Dr. Sharum Abdul Wahid, a senior consultant for pathological forensics in the United Kingdom, regarding the calculation of the impact force. Meanwhile, on the suggestion by inquest conducting officer Fatin Hatni Khairuddin to call another pathologist for the proceedings, Rofia said it would be decided after the court heard Amir Razzi's testimony. Muhammad Adib, 24, who was a member of the Emergency Medical Rescue Services EMRS unit from the Subang Jaya Fire and Rescue Department, was seriously injured during a riot at the Sri Maha Mariamman Temple, USJ 25, Subang Jaya, Selangor, on the 27th of November last year. After 21 days in critical condition, he died on 17th of December at the National Heart Institute. The bill to regulate the use of electronic cigarettes, vape and shisha is expected to be tabled in Parliament at the latest by the beginning of next year. Deputy Minister of Health Dr. Lee Boon Chye said the bill is still in the planning stage before it can be wholly presented to the public. Dr. Lee said the session, however, needs to be carried out with industry players and stakeholders to obtain their views regarding the drafting of the bill. Elaborating further, Dr. Lee said the trend of using electronic cigarettes and vape in Malaysia is viewed as an increasingly serious issue and it needs to be tackled. He said this is because vape users have the potential to become heavy smokers, as 90% of the vape liquid contents sold contain nicotine, which causes addiction.
Dan kita sasarkan kalau boleh mungkin dibentangkan di parlimen akhir tahun ini ataupun tahun depan. Akan tetapi seperti mana yang saya telah sebut sebelum ini, kita masih memerlukan stakeholder engagement sebelum kita bentangkan di parlimen.
Earlier, the Ministry of Health has set up a special committee to study issues relating to the regulation of the use of electronic cigarettes or vape. The committee, led by Dr. Lee, which will focus on a framework to regulate the use of vape in the same manner as tobacco cigarettes. The task force will hold its first meeting in the near future to discuss the matter. 3 members of the Jermaine Gang who were wanted by police for several break-ins and car thefts in Kedah, Pulau Pinang and Pahang have been arrested in 2 separate raids in Sungai Petani, Kedah recently. Kulim District Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Yusof Sha'ari said with the arrest of the 3 men aged between 28 and 35, police believe they have solved several break-ins and car theft cases in the 3 states. The cases involved losses amounting to 240,000 ringgit. According to Superintendent Muhammad Yusof, the gang's modus operandi was to select a house, break into the house and steal the car keys before fleeing with the vehicles. All suspects are being held for 4 days and investigated under Section 457 and Section 379A of the Penal Code for breaking and theft of motor vehicles. The Chief of Police said this to the media at the Kulim District Police Headquarters. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today officiated at the pairing of 111 youths to cabinet ministers and corporate CEOs under the 2019 Pradhana and Corporate Fellows internship program for undergraduates and graduates. 76 Pradhana Fellows were paired with 28 ministers and the Chief Secretary to the government, while 35 corporate fellows were paired with 19 CEOs of large corporate companies. Now, up to 60.2% of the participants of this year's program come from the B40 group. The ministers present at today's function included Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo, Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin, Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman, and Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister Yeo Bee Yin. The Pradhana Fellowship program enters its 7th year this year. It was introduced in 2013 by the Youth and Sports Ministry to train youths with potential into acquiring the highest level of leadership skills through direct emplacement with cabinet ministers. Identified youths undergo several phases of a selection process and are exposed directly to knowledge of government administration related to policy development and implementation of the national agenda. The Corporate Fellowship Program participants have to suggest improvements for the respective companies. The inaugural Corporate Fellowship Program sees the participation of 19 companies, among them Permodalan Nasional Berhad, Malaysia Airlines Berhad, Axiata Group Berhad, Air Asia Berhad, Ernst & Young, Khazanah Nasional Berhad, Telekom Malaysia and Petronas. The Securities Commission Malaysia, or SC, warns investors against unauthorized initial coin offerings, or ICOs, and digital asset exchanges after seeing an increase in the number of queries and complaints from members of the public. In a statement released, SC says any offering of digital assets as well as its associated activities such as marketing or inducing others to subscribe to an ICO will require authorization from the Commission. This follows the coming into force of the capital markets and services such as prescription of securities, digital currencies and digital tokens, as well as Order 2019 or prescription order on the 15th of January this year. The SC also urged investors to be cautious when considering to buy or sell digital assets through trading platforms. As of 4th of June this year, the SC has registered 3 recognized market operators, RMOs, to establish and operate DEX in Malaysia. These 3 DEX operators, namely Luno Malaysia Sdn Berhad, Synergy Technology Sdn Berhad, Tokenase Technology Sdn Berhad, have been given 9 months to fully comply with all regulatory requirements. Members of the public may verify if a digital asset operator is registered with the SC at www.sc.com.my. The Ministry of Finance has approved the extension of the scheme for financing the management of Bumiputera Entrepreneur Project Fund I, or TPUBI, to the Credit Guarantee Corporation Malaysia Berhad CGC for 3 years until 30th of June 2022. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, in a statement today, said the move is in line with the government's commitment to ensuring that Malaysia's economic growth can create opportunities that enable entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, to flourish. According to Lim, under the scheme, CGC has been given an allocation of 300 million ringgit to assist Bumiputera entrepreneurs who face difficulties in obtaining access to finances from financial institutions. TPUBI is a financing scheme contract funded by Bank Negara to provide working capital finances for Bumiputera entrepreneurs who have been awarded contracts or projects from government agencies, statutory bodies and highly reputable companies. In addition, Lim said the scheme is open to all economic sectors, including construction and supply, manufacturing and services. In a statement, Lim also said this scheme offers the benefit of up to 5% per year to first-time applicants for funding of up to 3 million ringgit. Since the establishment of the scheme in July 2009, CGC has approved and disbursed a total of 1.58 billion ringgit financing to more than 900,000 Bumiputera entrepreneurs. The Ministry of Primary Industries will continue to strengthen the development of the commodity sector to ensure it contributes greater export earnings to the country. Its Deputy Minister, Datuk Seri Shamsul Iskandar Muhammad Akin, said the commodity sector generated 127.8 billion ringgit, or 12.8% of the country's total export earnings. According to Datuk Seri Shamsul, an area of 2,068 hectares was cultivated with Kanaf crops last year, which exceeded the target of 2,000 hectares set by the National Kanaf and Tobacco Board, LKTN. He said this year, the LKTN targets 2,400 hectares of Kanaf crops with an estimated production value of 10,000 tonnes. Furthermore, he said in terms of sales, the ministry aims to reach 7 million ringgit compared to last year's sales of 5.451 million ringgit. Speaking to reporters during the LKTN Chitra and Service Awards today, Datuk Seri Shamsul said the Kanaf industry has great potential to be developed further, especially on industries related to biocomposites, furniture, construction and automotive. However, he said the LKTN needed to confront various challenges, including a lack of community awareness on the potential of kanaf crops, low industrial involvement, as well as empowering the commercialization of kanaf products. Now, Malaysia will raise several matters with regards to venue preparations for the 2019 SEA Games in the Philippines when they attend the Chefs de Mission's meeting in Manila next week. Now, Malaysia's Chef de Mission for the Biennial Games, Datuk Megah Zulkarnain Ormadin, said a Malaysian delegation led by National Sports Council NSC Director General Datuk Ahmad Shapawi Ismail had found that several venues are still under construction, although the Games is just 4 months away.
Saya dah mula dapat laporan daripada sana. Cuma kita akan maklumkan perkembangan selepas kita mengadakan mesyuarat pada 9 hari bulan. Mesyuarat teknikal sehari sebelum saya pula, Tuan Faizal dan Puan Nurul akan ke Manila. Perkara-perkara ini akan saya bawa dan juga dibantu Cik Faizal dan Puan Nurul dalam mesyuarat CDM nanti. Supaya mana perkara yang kita dah dapat laporan secara lengkap akan dapat kita mohon penjelasan daripada Filsok soal terutamanya persediaan venue-venue pertandingan dan juga perkara-perkara lain yang kita lihat perlu mendapat penjelasan yang sebenar.
Dato' Ahmad Shapawi and 12 representatives of NSC, the Olympic Council of Malaysia, OCM, and National Sports Institute, NSI, are on a visit to the Philippines from the 1st to the 5th of July to inspect preparations for the Games. Dato' Megah Zulkarnain said the Philippines would hold several pre-Games competitions to test the equipment and venues before the SEA Games is held in November. The Games will be held in Manila, Subic, and the Clark Freeport Zone. And that concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Riza Aziz charged with 5 counts of money laundering involving 1.25 billion ringgit. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Jessica Lee. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant weekend.